Welcome everyone. We are almost set to get the winter seasons going here at Vanguard University. Vanguard Athletics is ready to get basketball underway. Men are starting soon. The women are starting soon. They are going to have a couple of scrimmages against some D1 schools before we get the season underway down here in Southern California. But we've got head coach Russ Davis here today before they take off for those games. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. How has things been? Obviously last year, unfortunately, we ran out the streak of making it to the NAIA National Tournament, but let's leave that aside. How have things been going since the end of that season as we begin this new chapter of Vanguard basketball here in 22-23?
Well, I like our recruiting class. I like our returners returning. You know, on paper, we look like we're going to be as good, you know, as we used to be in a lot of areas. You know, we're like most teams around the country. We're trying to get through some, you know, some injuries and things like that. So we've been, you know, scrambling around to try to get through that. But the girls are working hard and they're starting to get it. And so might get off to a little bit of a slow start. But once we start getting some pieces back, and hopefully we play our best basketball at the times we need to.
For sure. So let's talk a little bit about those you've brought in, and then we'll circle back to the returners on this team. Who are you excited that you've brought in here to Vanguard this year?
Well, several of them. I think the first kid that we, first young lady that we signed was Hallie C. She's a point guard, decorated point guard here, you know, in Southern California. She's Player of the Year in her section, led her team to a CF championship, and you know, she's worked her way into the starting point guard spot as a freshman. That's not easy to do on a team that returns a lot of players. So I expect Hallie to step right up there. I mean, she's still young and learning, but she has a knack of making her teammates better, has a great understanding of the game, a great competitor, and you know, she's fit right in with what we're trying to do here. So she's one of those. The next one would be Sarah. We got Sarah out of Irvine Valley College. She played a year there, so we had 3 years left with her. She's a first-team All-State JUCO transfer, and a forward that can step out and play on the perimeter, knock down threes, post you up. Really good athlete that surprises you with their athleticism. So competitor. She's got tremendous drive and passion. So excited for what Sarah's going to bring. And then, you know, we have Jaren Madsen, another, she'd be a freshman from Washington. She helped lead her team to the state championship up there. And so she's got tremendous experience in big games, and she's real versatile. She can play 3 positions for us. She's learning a completely new system different from what she had played for most of her high school career, having her dad as her coach. And so she's still figuring that out, but she's coming around, and I'm really happy with her progress. Those are going to be probably the 3 that'll have the biggest impact so far. And then we have some kids that are redshirting this year, and we have Hunter Simon out of the IE area who you know, is battling through something right now too, to get her back on the court. So that might be a while. So super athletic player with a huge upside that has a passion for the game, real physical. You know, that's going to hurt us not having her there, but you know, other people will step up. And you know, those are the ones, and obviously without having Alexis, who is another all-state JUCO player who averaged over 20 points a game. We won't have her for a while either, coming back from a shoulder thing. So we're battling those things, but other people have opportunity to step up. So that's the majority of our incoming class, the ones that aren't redshirting.
Sounds like you got a good balance of positions and experience levels, so that will be key going forward.
Depth.
Yes, exactly. What about the people returning? You get a couple all-conference players, and I mean, it's hard to not start with her, but Melissa Okulu, who made the All-American list. What do we got coming back here for the Lions?
You know, Melissa should have a fantastic year. She's another kid that had a little stumbling block with a little injury going, so we're trying to get her back on the floor here soon. And she had to take the summer off, which she was trying to get herself healthy. So once she gets she started practicing well. And, you know, she dominates the game on both ends of the floor. She's just an impact player. And honestly, I think she's one of the top, when healthy, she's one of the top 10 players in our division. It'd be great to have her back out there. Hopefully we'll get her back soon. And so right now we're doing some different things until we get her out there. But yeah, you normally got to start with Melissa. And I would say the next stop would be Lauren Vanguard. She's you know, returning starter for us. She played the point last year.
Stepped up in a big way last year.
Yeah, she always has since she stepped on the, you know, she's the ultimate team player. You know, if you look up what you want in a basketball player and a you know, Vanguard women's basketball player, like on and off the court, you look in the dictionary, you're going to see Lauren's picture. You know, I can't say enough good things about her. I get goosebumps when I just talk about her. You know, she's, you know, had to play point guard for us, and she stepped up and did a great job, and now she's playing the off guard, and she's just shining. She's just shining. She's playing her best basketball since she's been here, so I'm really, really excited for her. She's worked hard. She had a great summer. I think we'll see some great things out of her. She's a great leader for us. And then next would be, you know, Ariana Madansky, who was, I think, our third leading scorer last year. She was in double figures, and she's another wing player for us that, you know, we expect to build on what she did last year. Another person that just puts time in year-round to keep herself ready for basketball and great in the classroom. Another great representation of what we're doing. So we got a lot of young ladies like that. And then somebody that's going to be like starting or being right there for the starting spot would be Fanny Guinier. She's a senior now. She's finally healthy, knock on wood, and she's playing great. She's really versatile. She can knock down threes. She can, you know, I don't want to give a full scouting report out, but she's going to be a matchup problem.
And good to see, especially after she only played, what, 4 or 5 games before that Menlo one. She was done for the rest of the year last year?
Yeah, I think we got her back later, if I remember right. They all go together, but she was never 100%.
Yeah.
But, you know, those two games, that game when we lost her and Kayla, that changed our season. Between that and having everybody get sick at the same time and being forfeiting games, and it was a tough battle. So we went out and got depth, and unfortunately, a lot of that is trying to get on the court right now, but, you know, God never gives us more we can't handle, and, you know, we're not trying to focus on what we don't have, but what we do have, and then I know the girls that we do put on the floor will be given it all they have, because we're pushing them every day in practice to do that, and they have a lot of good moments of doing that right now.
Well, let's be faithful, at least have some depth so that hopefully it won't be like a couple years ago during the COVID season when 5 of the 7 players you had were playing 40 or 39 minutes out of the 40 minutes of action. So
yeah. Yep.
Hopefully that will help you going forward. And speaking of going forward, obviously we're recording this the day of your leaving to head up north, get to play a couple big D1 schools. So let's talk schedule for a little bit and see what you've got on the docket for 22-23, starting with Cal and Stanford.
Yeah, so like you said, as we record this, we're getting ready to jump on a plane this afternoon and head up, and we'll play Stanford first, and then we'll play Cal the next day. And then we come back, and obviously those are big tests. Stanford's, in a lot of people's eyes, the best team in the country. Yeah,
the past few years have been top 4, 5, 10, whatever.
2 years ago, won a national championship and then go in the Final Four. I believe they might even play for it again last year too. I can't remember, but super talented. They have lots of first-round WNBA future players on that team, and so you know we're not going to see teams like that, obviously. But it's you know, I told them this morning in our little practice that it's not about going up there and, you know, trying, I mean, yeah, obviously we're going to compete, but it's like we're not going to measure things like against Stanford. I'm just going to measure their heart and how they compete against that, because we're outmatched at every position, and they're going to do that, quite frankly, to most of their opponents this year. So, you know, we're going to go out there and do our best, and that's all you can ever ask for as a coach.
And it's also a little bit of the experience too, right?
Yeah, big crowd playing a team like that, people they know and they watch on TV, and you know, and I'm really lucky that I've been friends with Coach Vanderveer for many years, and we've gone up, and this is I don't even know how many times, probably like close to the 10th time we've gone up and played them. You know, that's a real blessing for them to have us go up there and play them. And the same thing with Cal, Coach Shar, We're going to play them the next day. So to go play these teams back to back, it really shows us where we're at, what we need to work on. Sometimes we play games where, it's not as challenging, so we don't get exposed as much. And so we're really going to be able to find out a lot about our ladies and our team this week.
Then we'll dive into the NAIA schedule as we get going after that. And unfortunately, we're not going to see you all that much for the beginning of the year because since we don't have a home gym, we will be using OCC for the GSAC regular season games, but you didn't book any non-conference around here, so you're going to be out and about. Where are you going? Who are you seeing?
Yeah, we do. We bulked up our schedule a little bit this year.
For sure, you've got a number of top-ranked opponents headed into the season.
Yeah. Our second game of the year, we'll play a team in the top 25, Rocky Mountain, who beat us last year. I think they went to the Sweet 16 last year. Of course, we don't have a home gym, so we're playing in a little classic down in San Diego. 2 weeks from Saturday or whatever the date is. Don't know that off the top of my head, but so that'll be a really big test for us, especially not knowing who we'll have then and who we won't. And then, we go up and play a couple of good teams at Thanksgiving up at the William Jessup tournament up there. And then we have conference where before Christmas we'll play Menlo, William Jessup, Westmont, Santa Cruz, and Mike Pacific. We'll have 5 games in before we even get to Christmas. And then after Christmas we go out to Arizona and play Montana Western, who's a top 25 team, and Montana Tech, who's always a good team out of Montana. And then after Christmas, we come back and we go to the Westmont tournament, and we play Southeastern, who was the #1 team in the nation last year for most of the season, and there's another top 10 team this year. We'll play them, and then a school at Missouri who had last year's leading scorer in the country, averaged over 30 points a game returning. So, then the always tough GSAC conference. There's no easy games in that conference. Now everybody's stepped their game up. Everybody's taken advantage of a lot of good players out there. And so, not forgetting anybody in our schedule, hopefully, but, we don't take any game lightly, especially when we're going to be away from the friendly combines of the pit or every single one of our games. So it'll be challenging, but we do get back to where we're used to going, the national tournament, then we're not going to say we don't know how to play away from home.
There is something, you want to have a place that you can call home, and we will call OCC home, but still, it's a new place this year, so it'll be different getting used to that. Is there anything, I think Mike Villamore talked a little bit about this to Rhett Soliday on the men's side, beneficial in a way, and kind of being road warriors for a little bit? Does that, in your mind, build some sort of confidence so you can kind of just go win wherever you go?
It's kind of like, if you've been around basketball for a while and then you saw the old movie Hoosiers, where they go in there and they measure the court and before they play for the state championship there in Indiana, and you get the measuring stick, they go, it's 10 feet, just like any other court. So I said this to my teams, and all my former players that are watching know, that's coach, that's the spiel, but it's like, it really doesn't matter what else is around you. What happens is on the court. And so we always try to focus on the things, the controllables, what's on the floor, and not worry about the surroundings. So, if you just focus on what we're doing, then where we play and who we play and their crowd shouldn't affect us. And that's kind of what the mentality we want to build. The kind of Mamba mentality where you just focus on the task at hand and you don't let anybody get an edge with you. You start worrying about like the fans and all the other stuff, then it's like you're taken away from a chance to be successful with your own team. So we're just going to really focus on what we're doing and what we can control, and then all that other stuff will do that. Because it's easy to, if you start throwing all that stuff out there and it's easy to do that, then you almost have a built-in excuse, and you're going to have a room full of crutches. You have a reason for this, a reason for that. Everybody's got to do that. So that's just going to make us stronger. Almost feels like last year's theme for your team, no transfer of blame, right there. Yep. And then what some of these misfortune, in some ways what we're going through with some of these people battling stuff is another person's opportunity. So we'll see how we're ready, and then I'm not going to change our coach. I'm going to push them. When I recruit them, I tell them that I want you to give everything you have. When you're done here, I don't want you to have anything left. I want you to know that. And then I'm going to work on keep coaching them up on life skills and follow God's path. follow that plan he has for us.
Talk a little bit about the GSAC then. As you said, a tough conference, a lot of teams. You guys were picked to finish second in the preseason coaches poll behind Westmont, who has been top team over the past couple years. Mm-hmm. What is the outlook for the conference, and how do you expect things to shake up?
Well, looking at it, I think it's as deep as it's ever been. I think everybody's improved, and I think sometimes we get picked up there because of our history, and because of the success our programs had for many years, and also I think a lot of people knew the recruits that we have coming in. So if we're at full strength and we had nobody out right now, I would say that we're definitely, contender to win the conference. So, like I said earlier, we don't have that, so other people need to step up their game a little bit, and some people that didn't have that, this is their opportunity to show that they belong and deserve those minutes that they're working hard for. So Westmont should be the #1 seed. They return their guard, who's I think is the best guard in the country, and Stephanie, and so she was the former National Player of the Year, and much respect for what Coach Chris McKnight does up there. She does a great job, and her team plays hard, and they're prepared all the time. They make it hard for you. They're deserving of that. And then behind that, I think it's a crapshoot. I think we're there by number, but I think there's the next 5 or 6 teams can beat anybody, and so you have to bring it. And we've learned that over the years. Many years ago, we didn't have many close games. And I felt like we had a little bit of say from all the success we had winning those 12 championships, that people had to step their game up, and they have. And now there's a lot of parity in our conference. We have a lot of good coaches and a lot of good players, and we play a lot of good games. And people have stepped their schedule up too, so I think the GSAC's going to make a big jump this year. We have and gain some of that respect. I think that we don't get as much as we should probably in some areas.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how that all develops as we go forward. And final question then before we let you go, how's Russ Davis doing?
Good. I obviously I've had some challenges, but I'm on the right side of the dirt, and very blessed, and I'll just continue to battle, and whatever gets thrown my way, I'm not, I'm never gonna like to say why me. I'm just gonna take every obstacle and face it head on and do the best I can, just like I ask my players to. So you don't get any complaints out of me. I'm going to battle. One of my goals this year is to not miss any practices or games, and that's been tough, battling through the cancer stuff and, the after effects of all that. I think having over 50 surgery procedures over the last couple of years is a little challenging, but hopefully I can get those things scheduled around and where it doesn't affect me. I had one 2 weeks ago and was able to, early in the morning, was still able to go make sure I made practice that night. So that's my goal. I think I want to really help this team, and I know my staff feels the same way. So.
You do have a couple, one new and one new title. Mm-hmm. Who you got this year helping you out?
Well, Sierra was elevated to associate head coach, lead assistant, full-time. And she's been with me, this is her, I think, 7th year total between playing and coaching. So she knows our program inside out. She does a lot of the admin stuff for us. And she stepped right in that role. She knows everything that we need to do. She knows how I am, what I like. She's doing a great job so far. I like to give those guys responsibilities because, especially my young coaches, their ultimate goal one day to be a head coach. So I'm not helping them if I try to do everything myself. Very blessed to have well over, I don't even know now, over a couple hundred people, coaches, players from either my club or here out coaching somewhere, and I'm really proud of the fact that I've helped them in a little bit in some way. And then we have Mike Anderson helping us this year, and I've known Mike for many years. Mike is a successful coach in all kinds of different sports. He was a successful women's basketball coach in high school and in junior college. He brings like 40 years of coaching experience, and I'm letting Mike handle a lot of our defense. I'm throwing that out there in case we get a lot of points. I'm just kidding. Mike's been a great addition. He's also somebody that has been in my one of my Bible studies with, so I've got to know Mike even better over the last couple of years, especially through the pandemic. A blessing to have Mike here with everything he brings. And then we have Michaela popping in and out of there, you know, one of the best, if not the best rebounder we've ever had.
Yeah.
She's got a full-time job going, but I like having people like that around, so it's nice to have Michaela popping into 2 or 3 practices a week and giving her insights and helping the young ladies. So.
She could show someone how to grab rebounds like she did.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah, at 5'9", she played like she's 6'8".
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so, just that mentality. So, you know, we got everything in place, and now we're just trying to battle through what we're battling through, and we're going to give everything we have and see where the chips fall. And at the end of the day, that's all we can do.
Well, have a safe trip up north. Enjoy spending time in a couple big schools. And we are excited to finally get you back here for a home game once December hits. So Coach Russ Davis, thanks for joining us today. Great season you. We'll see you here soon. I
appreciate it. You know, I don't like doing these because I have a face for radio. So, but sometimes you got to get in front of a camera, so I appreciate it.
Of course.